All right, guys, in this video, I'm gonna go over how I would set up and approach a Google Ads campaign for a wills and estates law firm, offering wills, estates, probate, things of that nature. I'm gonna show you how to do the keyword research, what keywords you should be targeting, how to arrange them, and then set up the campaign in the Google Ads account. So the very first thing you need to do is you wanna open the Google Ads Keyword Planner. This is a free tool that you get within Google Ads. You just need to make an account. You don't have to actually spend any money, and it will give you access to it. So you would go down the side here, you click Tools, and you'll see Keyword Planner. You click that, and it will open up this page here. So what you want to do is you want to hit Discover New Keywords. You want to select the area that you're going to be targeting. So this would be your target area. So let's say, for example, we'll just select Miami, Florida as an example for this video. Hit target, hit save. And then you want to type in the main keyword that you actually want to target, or several keywords. So in this case, we'll go will lawyer, estate lawyer, probate lawyer, and then we'll see what it throws up. So basically you just want to select the keywords that you think people will be searching when they're looking for your services, and you want to go through and just type them in. And now Google's going to give you those keywords plus all of the related keywords that it thinks is relevant to what you are, to the words you typed in. So you're going to end up with a list like this. Now, the very first thing that I recommend you do is actually export this entire list, and we'll go and sort it out in either Google Sheets as a CSV, totally up to you. I'm just going to do it CSV, and you want to open that CSV or the Google Sheet, and we'll go through and sort through this. So the first thing I'll do is delete these top two rows. They're not really relevant. And I also delete everything other than the search volume, which is average monthly searches, and the keywords. All of these ones here, they're not really relevant. You don't need to really pay attention to all this. It's not that important for now. And then I like to also just color this top column and filter the average monthly searches Z to A so that we can see how many searches each of these keywords get. Now, what we want to do now is go through this list, and we want to sort this into themes or topics of different keywords. So what I mean by that is we've already can see probate lawyer, probate lawyers, probate attorney. That would be a theme or a topic of probate. And then we've got will lawyer, wills, we've got trusts, we've got estates. So all of these are separate themes, and we'll go into that in a minute. The first thing I want to point out though is that I'm already noticing, and I know this from experience in this niche, Google is already throwing out real estate keywords. And so the first thing we need to do is we're definitely going to have to eliminate that from our list of keywords and add it as a negative. So what I recommend you do in this case is I open up a notepad and I keep a list of all the negatives I'm going to add to the campaign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the word real in the phrase match, which means it's going to have the apostrophes. So these apostrophes mean when I put it into Google, Google's going to phrase match this keyword, and that means it's going to match any keyword that someone types in that contains the word real. It's going to eliminate it and won't show your ad. And so we want that because we want to remove real estate. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take these specific keywords and I'm gonna delete them, but I will also move them across. And the reason why I'm gonna move them across is because I wanna include them as exact match negatives as well. So I'm gonna add the square brackets around each of these, and that's gonna tell Google to eliminate this exact phrase. So if somebody searches real estate attorney, real estate lawyer near me. Now, theoretically, this should cover it, but I want to be doubly sure because I definitely don't want to target and pay for clicks on this. So I'm adding them like this as well, just to be safe, because Google's matches are not very, let's say, exact these days. And so you want to be fully sure. So that's the first thing I would eliminate, just because I saw it so obviously right off the top. Now we can start going through this list and sorting them into groups. Now, another thing I just noticed is property lawyers, property solicitors. We definitely want to get rid of property. So I'm going to add these as well. I would add property as a phrase match and then add these two as exact as well, like that, and then remove them from the list. And so we want to just make sure we don't have any property related stuff coming up. So what I do now is I'll open a couple of new tabs, and these tabs are going to be basically the different ad groups we're going to create, and we're going to group the keywords together. So the easiest way to do this is to throw a filter on here and search the main base keyword. So for example, let's say we want to do probate, we'd go probate, and now we've got all the probate lawyer keywords. So we can go down this list now and decide which ones we want to target and which ones we don't. So for example, you got like pro bono. If you don't want to do pro bono, you could take that out. If you definitely don't want to do it, you don't want to even bid on it, you could add pro bono here in the negative list as a negative phrase match, and then any keyword with pro bono in it won't show your ad, in theory anyway. And then you can get rid of them from this list here. And we'll just go down and see what else there might be here. So estate, probate, This one gets tricky because we're going to have an estate one as well, but for now we can leave it. Now, what you want to look for is you're basically looking for keywords that are either not relevant and also the ones that you definitely do want to target, because what you also need to be aware of is the search intent behind a lot of these keywords. So for example, if we take a look at the one I just saw, which was find a probate lawyer, the intent behind that one is not exactly the same as somebody searching probate lawyer near me. Probate lawyer near me or something like that, which is very high intent, is signaling they want a probate lawyer. This could be a range of different things, and because it's unclear, I personally don't like to bid on those keywords because you don't know for sure who you're getting. And so typically speaking, the conversion rate is going to be lower on keywords like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove it from this list. I'm also going to remove a probate lawyer because I don't really think that that's as relevant. So I'm not going to add it as a negative. I'm just going to remove it just to tell Google I don't want to specifically bid on it, basically, but not eliminate anything else. Now, cost as well is another one that I recommend you would need to test, because in some cases it works, in some cases it doesn't. But this is more an informational type keyword. And so typically I don't like to target them either because they usually don't convert into an actual lead, because person's just looking how much does it cost at this point. They're probably not going to turn into like an actual lead that's going to go ahead. Now some might, but we want to really trim this down and go for the super high intent ones that are really definitely going after our service, because you're paying for these and they're not exactly cheap. So you want to keep that in mind. So you want to go through this entire list. Sometimes you might have like good few hundred, as you can see here, keywords that you go through. Now, personally, I would not bother with anything that's like below 50. So like all of these, basically you're going to get in by having something like probate lawyer phrase match. It's going to catch these anyway. So it's not really worth your time going through this at such a, all the way down there to 0. And quite frankly, going beyond like 50 of the top 50 keywords, it's also a pretty low return on your money. So I wouldn't really spend too much time on it. I would pick out the top 10 to 50 keywords and I'd go with those. And that will basically draw in everything else, which you will see once you start running the campaign. You're going to get a lot of unrelated searches as it is. So you don't want to, go too ballistic anyway. So what I would do is once I'm happy with the list, we'll take the ones that we want. Let's say we want to take these ones. And we can copy them and put them in another sheet, which is going to be the probate law one. So here's our probate law keywords that we're going to run for the probate law ad group. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color them yellow so that we can keep track of this, and then remove the filter. So these are going to go in the probate lawyer ad group that we're going to run specifically for probate law. Now we can do the same thing and go for like estates. So you can filter by estate. Now you would go through the same thing. Now here, you can see real estate again. We'd want to eliminate that one. So I would add that as a negative again, like I showed you earlier. This one would be an exact match as well, just to be 100% safe because it's so unrelated to what we're doing. But what you can see here is there's actually two things here, estate planning and estate lawyers. And as we'll know, estate lawyers is not exactly the same thing as estate planning. It's obviously falls within it, but estate lawyers could mean something else. And so I would actually run two separate ad groups. I would put estate planning as one ad group and then estate lawyers as another, because the intent is slightly different there. So I'm just going to put them in a different sheet. And then estate lawyers near me would go into the third one, like that. And so basically we're just trying to group them together into groups of the most relevant possible keywords we have. Now that, again, we want to remove that. There's another property one that popped up. I'm not going to remove all the real estate and property ones, but you definitely would want to add all these to the negatives. I'm just not going to do it because we'll be here all day if I continue doing it. But you go down this list now to go through the estate one. So we've got estate law firms. This one can go into the main estate one here. Add that one as yellow. Estate lawyer, estate attorney near me, estate attorney. These can all go into the estate one. So again, I'm just going to do an overview of some of these. I'm not going to go through and do all 50 because we're going to be here all day. And I'm sure you get the point anyway. Best estate planning. So that one would go into estate planning, etc., etc. So let's say we've done that. Basically, these honestly on their own would pull in the majority of them. But why you want to add them even though they're phrase matches, because sometimes some of these keywords will pull in keywords that just don't convert as well as others. And so if you get a decent list going here, it allows you to filter through them and try and just optimize for the ones that are the best. And that's how you can really fine tune the campaign. So if you just threw an estate lawyer and estate attorney, you wouldn't get a lot of data as to what exactly is converting, and then you couldn't really optimize it. So that's why you want to get a decent list. But at some point you will start running into diminishing returns and you don't want to spend all day doing this. It should take you an hour or so, and then beyond that, like, in most cases, yeah, it's not worth it. So now we've got 3 ad groups we can run. Obviously, you would do this for wills, you would do this for trusts, and any other area of this that you want to also advertise for. Again, I'm just going to use these 3 as an example for this video. Now that you've got this, now we know what ad groups we're going to make, and we also know what pages we need on the website, and we can start making the campaign. So now we can go back to Google Ads, and you'd want to make a new campaign in your account. So you want to hit new and create a new campaign. And now I'll just quickly walk you through this process. I'm not going to go into every detail about this because I have videos on all the specifics of setting up a search campaign. If you want to know that, just hit the link above and you'll be taken to the video that walks you through in detail how to set up every part of this. But basically you want to just I select create campaign without guidance. You go search, select the conversions you want to actually target, and then hit continue. And then you want to select website visits, put your website in there. So I'm just going to go examplesite.com and then hit continue. And now you want to call the campaign whatever it is in this case. So in this case, we'll go estate law. And typically I will just lump all of the ad groups that I've shown you into one campaign. You certainly could put them all as separate campaigns, but that's not really worth doing unless you have a massive budget and you really want to control what each of them spends. But in most cases, that's not usually necessary. You can usually just have like estate law and then everything within estate law as an ad group. And then let's say you're doing other areas of law, you can have that like family law and then, you know, all the family law areas as ad groups within that as well. So these, let's just untick this. We'll go through this list. You would obviously want to select your appropriate target location. So you would just enter the location. Let's say it was like Miami in this case. You want to just select it. You can also exclude anything you want to exclude. Again, this is a little bit beyond the scope of the video, but you want to get all that done. I usually click presence as well rather than interest. So it's only the people in that area that it actually targets, that actually live there. And then we can hit next. And now we can set up our first ad group. So here, what you want to do, I usually name them whatever it is. So if it's will lawyer in this case, I will call it will lawyer. And then I will put phrase. So we know this is a phrase match for the keywords. And now we can paste our keywords in. Don't let Google do that. It's not going to be very good. Now we want to take our list of will lawyer, or probate lawyer in this case. So I actually made a mistake there. I'll correct that. So we take our probate lawyer ones, rename this. Okay. And you want to go here, clear any keywords that are in here, paste them in. Now, we're going to have to come back to this and make these phrase match. You can do it now by adding apostrophes before and after every keyword, but that's going to take you forever. So I'm just going to show you how to do it quickly after we've created the campaign. Just leave it there for now like this and we'll come back to it. And now you want to make your ad. So here you want to make sure that you're sending the ad for this specific set of keywords and this ad group to the specific page. So in this case, it would be probate. Now, you want to ensure that you have the landing page for this. It's extremely important. And the reason why is because you're essentially making a sales funnel and it needs to be relevant from the top to the bottom. So here's what I mean by that to visually illustrate it. In this case, let's say we've got probate here. The person searches probate lawyer as a keyword. The best thing you can do is show them an extremely relevant ad in this case, which would be an ad that says probate lawyer and talks about how you can offer them what they're looking for as a probate lawyer. Now what you want to do is make sure that they also land on the page that talks about probate lawyer and how you can help them, right? What you don't want is you don't want to have probate lawyer the keyword, probate lawyer the ad, and then it goes to a home page which doesn't really have any mention of probate, because you've basically broken this chain here by having the home page that's not relevant. And so you're going to lose a lot of people who won't convert simply because it's not that relevant. This is the way you want to have it going, because this is the most relevant funnel that you can have, which is going to make sure that the highest amount of people possible will convert into potential leads and obviously clients for your firm. So that's how you want to do it. You want to make sure the whole thing is congruent from start to finish, all on the same topic. That's why we're splitting them up into different ad groups and things like that. Now, here you can just put the URL, you can put it the most relevant thing. So probate law or probate lawyer, just to have it display in the ad as well. And now you want to make the headlines and the description. So what I like to do is I like to pin them 1, 2, and 3. I don't let Google do its thing. I like to personally control the ad. So I'll have like probate lawyer in Miami here, for example. And then I'll have, for example, free, some kind of incentive. So free consultation for Canal, like some kind of CTA and some kind of incentive. And then in the third headline, it would be like, we specialize in all probate cases, or in all probate, or something along those lines, just to give like a little bit more of an incentive to get them to click your ad. Have that pinned there. And then I would make more variations of these once we're done. Make 2 more variations and test which variation of the ad works the best. I don't typically like running the responsive search ads as Google recommends because they've never outperformed this way of me doing it, but that's in my experience, and obviously I've been doing this for a while. Now with the description, I'm going to pin number 1 and pin number 2, and in here I'm just going to put something like, we specialize in all probate law cases or services, whatever you want to put here. Maybe speak to our probate lawyers today. And now a tip here is that if you include the keyword in here, it's going to show up bold when they search on Google search. So you want to actually try and get the keyword in there because it's going to help your ad stand out a little bit. Here you could list out all the different things like administration and what other areas, grant of probate, etc., etc. Whatever other areas you want to target. Administration, grant of probate. Let's say get free advice now. So you'd fill that out with obviously the relevant details for your particular firm. Maybe you could include something like 10 years experience or whatever other selling points you had. You would want to include them there to try and convince them to click the ad. And then you want to fill out and do all of these different assets as well. I'm not going to go into that into this video, but basically you put as many of these assets as you can because they're only going to help you. Try and make them as relevant as possible to that specific ad group. So for example, probate, you'd want to have links to like probate relevant pages, maybe some guides, things like that. The site links. You'd want to have like some call outs to talk about probate, etc. And then once you're done, you can hit done down here, and then we can hit next and set this campaign up, and then I'll show you what you need to do from here. So we've got the keywords, we've got the ads, you would hit next. That's basically all done. You can just select the budget that you want and then hit next. Let Google do its thing, check everything. For some reason, this error's been popping up for me lately. So if it happens, just select something else and click next, and then it should fix it. And you can see here, we can now publish it. So now you can publish the campaign. So now publish it and it'll be good to go. And then we're gonna have to do a couple more things. So don't go off just yet. Okay, so now you can ignore this. You probably won't even get this. It's just that I don't have conversion set up here, so it doesn't really matter. Now we can go into the campaign. So you want to select the campaign. You'll probably have to select it from this drop down. So you want to go to, you want to select your new campaign. So in this case, estate law. And so now we've got our new campaign with our ad group that we just made. So now we need to go in here and do 2 things. 1, we need to go change these keywords. So just click on it and it'll take you to the keywords. You want to here select all and then go edit, change match types, and then go change all match types. And go phrase match. So that was the thing that instead of adding the apostrophes, we do it this way and it's a lot faster and easier. And now this will update all of your keywords to phrase match, as you can see here. And now the next thing you want to do is you want to go into the ads and you would want to make a couple variations of this if you've done it the way I'm showing you, which would be you'd go edit and you would go copy and then you would just go paste. And you would have to click this, I'll show you. You select the right campaign in the ad group that you want to paste it into, and you want to make sure you click this, otherwise it won't create the duplicate because you've already got one. You hit paste, and then you go in here once it's done, and you just make a variation on one of the headlines. That's usually how I do it, or one of the descriptions as well. And you basically split test 3 different variations of the ads and see which ones perform best, drop the ones that don't perform as good, keep the ones that do, keep optimizing like that. And eventually you'll have some very, very good performing ads that do really well. So you can see here how it's made that. So you would just go in here and you can test maybe either a different keyword at the beginning, like probate attorney, for example. You go probate attorney and see if that performs better. You could also change one of these or change that. I recommend only changing one thing per ad so you can actually see what's making the difference. And eventually by combining all the elements, you should have a really good performing ad. This is how you would do that. Now you have 2 variations. You can make a 3rd as well. You can have up to 3. So once you've done that, now we've got the keywords are set. We have the ads. One thing we need to do is add the negative keywords as well. So you want to go into audiences, keywords, etc. Click search keywords here. And now up here, you want to click negative keywords. And we want to take that list that we added before like that. We want to copy it and we want to paste it in here with all of the correct settings. So the speech marks or the square brackets for exact and phrase match, and then hit save. And now you've applied these keywords to the ad group. So now what we can do is we can go in here and we can copy this ad group, or we can make a new one and then make the other one. So we had estate planning, we had estate lawyers, we would have will lawyers as well. We'd want to go through and make those. So you can either start all over again, hit create new ad group, start this from the beginning, go through the same process I just showed you, and it will go through the same steps. Or, and a somewhat easier way that I prefer, is to just copy this ad group like this, copy, paste, and then you can just adjust the settings in there. So you would want to select the right campaign, hit next. You can pause it if you want. I typically pause them, optimize them, and then enable them so I know which ones are done and which ones are not. Let it do its thing. And then you can go in here. We need to now edit the keywords and the ads for this basically. All right, and now you might have to go to this drop down and just click view all. And we'll have another ad group here, as you can see. So now I will change the name of this one to be estate lawyer, and this one can be the estate lawyer one. So now you want to go in here, click on the estate lawyer one, and then we'll go into the keywords, and you want to select all, and you want to remove all these keywords, and then you want to add the keywords for that ad group. So we'll pull out that list again, and we'll go to estate lawyers. We'll take these, we'll copy them, we'll paste them again, and then we'll update them to phrase match once they're in there. Okay, select all, edit, change match types to phrase match. Okay. And then also with the negative keywords, if you have specific negative keywords to add to this ad group, or you don't want the negative keywords from the last one, you want to go in here and remove all these. So don't forget to do that. In this case, I'm going to leave it because it's applicable. And now you want to go to the ads and you would update these ads. So you could either delete them and start again, or you can just edit them. Make sure that you edit them to the new URL for the correct page for this ad. So in this case, it would be estates, for example. So don't forget to do that. You would want to have estate here as well. And then you would just update this. So, estate lawyer in Miami, we specialize in all estate services, or you could do like all estate services. Let's say we can fit wills. We can't really fit more, but you get the idea. You could list them out like wills, planning, etc., etc. You'd obviously update the descriptions as well. You can update the assets too, like the site links, etc. for this specific one. You would go in there and add the specific ones for this, if you're doing it by ad group. And now you have that done as well. So now you have the two ad groups. You've got estate lawyers and you've got probate, and you would go through and add all the rest of them as well. And so you would have, by the end of this, you'd have estate lawyers, estate planning, probate, wills, and possibly any others, let's say trusts or anything else you're running. They should all be going to the specific landing pages like I showed you here. So you've got the keyword, the ad, the landing page, and it's all congruent for every one of these ad groups. So this is basically an ad group here. You would have an ad group here, an ad group here, etc. And so that's it. And then once that's done, as long as you've done this correctly and you've set up the landing pages correctly as well, then you can hit this campaign to go and it can run and you can start running your ads, and that's it. That's how it works. And so from here, you would just optimize. So this is the process I use to set up campaigns for law firms, for wills and estates. This works extremely well, this structure, because it's so relevant all a way along, like I showed you in that graph, in that diagram. And so that's why this works, and I highly recommend you use this strategy. If you have any questions about any of this, you can put them in the comments below and I'll answer them. Otherwise, if you'd like me to do this for your firm and get you results with Google Ads and or SEO, go to dominatemarketing.io. You can book a call with me there. Otherwise, if you'd like me to coach you on how to run Google Ads like this and do SEO as well for only $49 a month, go to learndominatemarketing.com. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Catch you on the next one.